Success happens in the hours no one is watching. In the lonely nights where everyone else is out partying. But this is a truth most men like to avoid. Most men only work hard when someone is there to pat them on the back. They train harder when someone is watching. They focus harder when someone might notice. But when the room is empty, when nobody sees the work, they disappear. And that is why the goal stays far away. Because success does not care how hard you work when everyone is watching. The real test is what you do when there is no one there to admire or validate your efforts. In those hours, it's just you, the work, and the truth. That is where a man finds out who he really is, in the private hour, in the unseen rep, in the task you finish when nobody would know if you stopped. That is where success is built. Not after the world starts seeing the result. It is built long before. The world only sees the result. It only sees the success after the long, lonely nights, full of failed attempts and self-doubt. That is why everyone looks like an overnight success, because nobody saw the years when nothing was working. Nobody saw the ugly beginning or failed attempts. And that is the part most people cannot survive. They want the result to be visible instantly. They want immediate gratification. But men who think like this are misunderstanding a fundamental truth. The bigger the goal, the longer the delay. And during that delay, most people quit. This is what separates those who succeed from those who just want to succeed. Because private effort creates undeniable proof. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when nobody sees it, you build evidence. Evidence that you can trust yourself. Evidence that you are becoming the kind of person who succeeds regardless of circumstance. That is where confidence comes from. Not from hype. Not from affirmations you do not live. Confidence comes from repeated proof. It comes from doing the work so many times that your mind starts believing you are capable. It comes from the private stack of moments where you did not fold. The extra rep, the finished task, the call you made, the choice to continue when comfort asked you to stop. And those things matter. They are not small. They are the foundation. Because one day, when the pressure arrives, you will not have to fake belief. You will have evidence. You will know that you are someone who can handle pressure, because you've already seen that type of pressure before. And that knowledge changes how a man carries himself. It gives you the knowledge that you are capable of the hard work required for success, because you have already done it before. Hard work is not always complex. Sometimes it is boring, simple, repetitive. A continuous, unending focus on one thing until the small details begin to separate you from everyone who only wanted to succeed. Most people underestimate how much work is required for the outcome they say they want. They think they need a secret, a shortcut, a better plan. But most people already know enough to take the next step. They know what needs to be done. They know the task they keep delaying. The problem is not always ignorance. Sometimes the problem is delay. You waste more energy avoiding the work than the work itself would have taken. You let the gap between waking up and starting work become wide enough for distraction to enter. And once distraction enters, the precious hours you were given start getting lost in the noise. So reduce the gap. Wake up and start. Finish one task and move to the next. Stop needing a perfect environment. Stop needing motivation to carry you into action. At some point, the goal is to stop asking how you feel and simply do what needs to be done. Because the man who succeeds understands a simple truth. Some people work until they are tired. Some people work until the clock gives them permission to stop. But the man who succeeds works until the goal is hit, not until the clock says stop. That does not mean you destroy yourself. It means your standard is not controlled by comfort. It means if the goal requires 100 reps, you do not stop just because you are bored. You stop when the work is done. That is the difference between passing interest and commitment. Interest leaves when the work becomes repetitive. Commitment understands that repetition is the road, and the more times you do what is required to get what you want, the more often you get what you want. Because the volume of work matters, you need the reps. And then, you need to make each rep better. You need the volume. And then, you need to increase the value of the volume. That is how skill grows. And over time, the work that once felt ordinary begins to produce results other people call sudden. But it was not sudden. It was hidden. There is a lonely chapter in every meaningful transformation. A season where you no longer fit comfortably into the old version of your life, but you do not yet have the result that lets you fit in with the new version of your life. And that chapter is difficult, because you are changing before the world can see the change. You are sacrificing before the reward arrives. You are trying to pull something from your mind into reality, and for a long time, the only person who truly sees it is you. And that can feel lonely. But lonely does not mean wrong. Sometimes lonely means you are walking through the part of the path that cannot be crowded. Because some people may not understand your standards. Some may criticize your focus. Some may even support you in the beginning, then grow uncomfortable when you start to see some success. Because people often want you to do well, but not better than them. They can clap for your struggle as long as it keeps you familiar. But when your growth starts making them feel insecure, their support may turn to envy. Do not let that pull you backward. Do not bend yourself back into a life you already know will disappoint you just to make other people comfortable. Because more often than not, their criticism is just a projection of their insecurity of the things they have been avoiding. It may be about the risks they chose not to take. But your job is not to be understood by everyone. Your job is to keep building. Because the best way to guarantee average results is to do what everyone else does. At some point, becoming exceptional requires being willing to be the exception, to work when others stop, to practice when others scroll, to keep going when no one is watching, because you know the unseen work is shaping the result that will one day be seen. And yes, it will hurt. But pain exists in every direction. Growth is painful. Stagnation is painful. Decline is painful. So pain cannot be your excuse. The only question is whether the pain you choose is building you or burying you. If you avoid the pain of growth, you will inherit the pain of regret for what could have been. If you avoid the pain of work, you inherit the pain of unused potential. And unused potential can eat a man alive. It follows him everywhere he goes. It asks why he kept stopping, why he kept waiting. That is why you have to make peace with the unseen season. You have to learn to work without constant feedback. You have to root for yourself before anybody else does. Because for a long time, the only applause may be your own. And that has to be enough in the beginning. Because for years it can look like nothing is moving. But as long as you keep going, success can happen at any time. And when it does, you will understand why you had to go through everything that you did. Other people may say you got lucky, but they did not see the years when nothing happened at all. They did not see the nights you wanted to quit, the rejection, the self-doubt. They only saw the harvest, not the years of planting. So stop needing them to see it now. Let them miss the process. Let them misunderstand the silence. You are not building for applause. You are building for proof. The proof to yourself that you gave everything you had. The proof that you became the kind of man who does not quit. Because not quitting is one of the greatest skills a man can build. He can lose. He can be rejected. But as long as he keeps learning and improving, the game is still alive. So, if you are chasing a goal and everything feels heavy, keep going. Because one day, the struggle will become the story. The hard season you hate now will become the experience that gives you the strength, skill, and context to beat bigger challenges later. The lonely chapter may become the chapter you are most grateful for. So, when nobody is watching, work. When the result is invisible, work. Not to prove you are better than everyone, but to prove to yourself that you will not fall short of your standard. Because the only person who truly knows whether you gave everything is you. And one day, you will have to live with that answer. So make it an answer you respect. Do the unseen work. Stay in the lonely chapter. And trust that if you keep building in the dark, the result will eventually break through. Because success happens when no one is watching. The world only arrives later to witness what silence already built.